Yo, so what is up everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video and we're going to be doing a career simulation of, you guessed it, the 5th overall pick, Issac Okoro's NBA career. We've done this for a lot of the top prospects already, so I wanted to show Okoro some love. And as always, if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you are new. And let me know who you guys want next down below in the comments section. So in year 1 of Okoro's career here with the Cleveland Cavaliers, we come in as the number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference, which is not too bad. Okoro putting up just about 11 points per game, chilling at a 78 overall, and of course making the All-NBA second team in his first season with the Cavs. So not some bad accolades going on there at all, doing his thing. So I'm interested to see who our first round matchup's going to be, and it's going to be the Boston Celtics. Obviously, the Celtics are a very good squad, and the team very much similar to what it is last year in real life. And as you can expect, they do end up 4-0 sweeping us, which is not the biggest surprise in year 1 here, as we need Okoro and some of our younger guys to start progressing a little bit further to help us make these deep playoff runs. Finals here in year 1, you got the Lakers, of course, that kind of like bomb squad they have now, with the Bucks up against them in the finals, who did add Drew Holiday. And I'm assuming the Lakers are going to take this because they did add some great depth over the offseason, as they do LeBron getting finals MVP. Moving us into year 2 here, Issac Okoro now up to a 79 overall, starting at that small forward position for us. So let's see how year 2 goes. Trae Young ends up being the MVP of the regular season here in year 2. Bol getting most improved player of the year. Bol gets 6th man of the year, and Killian Hayes, our former draft member, I guess you could say, gets most improved player of the year. And we come in as the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Issac Okoro putting up 12.4 points per game and progressing from a 79 to an 82 already this season. We have a first round matchup up against a very tough Atlanta Hawks team. Obviously, with Trae Young and these pieces around him, it's going to be a tough one for us to win here. But let's not count us out just yet. And we actually end up going to Game 7 with them. And as you can see what the stats were kind of looking like in Game 7, a very close one where Trae dropped 45 points on us. And we still stayed alive. So I'll definitely take that. And we'll be simming this Game 7 and seeing if we can actually get out of the first round and move to round 2 after a tough first round matchup up against this Hawks team. So let's hop into Simcast and see just how this one ends up playing out, boys. Can we make it to the second round? Let's check it out. So as you can see, kind of back and forth early on, and let's just hope we can keep this lead, and we do end up taking it 139 to 134. Colin Sexton having a great game and 24 points on 11 for 17 shooting there for Okoro, really helping us in that big Game 7. Big-time players show up in big-time games, so we will take that. Second round here, our Cleveland Cavaliers team in year 2 is up against the Brooklyn Nets that, of course, do have a healthy KD and Kyrie Irving. Definitely a tough duo to kind of try and suppress, but let's see if we can do it, boys. Let's see if we can do it. We end up taking it in 5, only letting them get 1 game on us. Obviously, some great games all around there. And Issac Okoro doing his thing as well, 17 points per game. 17 points in a big game in year 2 is not bad in the playoffs at all for our young player. Eastern Conference Finals up against, obviously, the team that made it out of the East this year, the Miami Heat, and we end up getting out of that as well in 6. Issac Okoro only putting up about 8 in that game, 8, 5, and 5, but a contribution is still a contribution. We're going to be in the finals here up against the Nuggets, who are not who we expected, of course, to make it out of the Western Conference. And we find ourselves up 3-1 on them, and we hop into this one, boys, up 125 to 99 with 8 seconds left on the clock. So it's pretty safe to say, lock it up. We get our first NBA championship of this sim for our boy Issac Okoro, and I'm very interested to see which one of these players actually ends up getting Finals MVP for this team, because there's a lot of guys I think potentially could, in all honesty. So let's check out the box score and see if that kind of gives us an idea of who might have gotten it. So 27 points there for Sexton, and not really a great game for Okoro, only putting up 4, 5, and 4 on 3 shots. But it actually ends up being Andre Drummond, a little surprising wild card to get it, in my opinion, as we move into year 3, where we're working with about a 4-star system proficiency. And as you can see in year 4, Trae Young ends up getting MVP, and Emoni Bates now in the league getting Rookie of the Year. Checking at the standings here, we're the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, which is a huge W to say the very least. Issac Okoro now up to an 84 overall, putting up just about 15 points per game at only 22 years old, boys. Let's keep in mind just how young he is going forward. Up against this Magic team in the first round that obviously is starting a fellow rookie in Cole Anthony. We end up bouncing them, but we do get knocked out in the second round by that Hawks team that we upset last year. Trey drops 44, and it's just a little bit too much for us to handle up against the Suns here, and it looks like it could go either way, and it ends up going to the Suns with DeAndre Ayton getting a Finals MVP, moving us into year 4, 2023. And as you can see, to start off year 4, Okoro is sitting at an 84 overall, getting about 31 minutes per game. So let's see how this one goes. Trae Young ends up getting regular season MVP here, putting up 32 points per game for the Hawks. And of course, we're going to try to make a run here up against the number 1 seed Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals, who did just bounce us last year. So let's see if we can actually beat them this time. And unfortunately, boys, we cannot. Getting bounced in 5 games by this super strong Hawks team. 22-point performance there from Okoro was not enough. The Hawks end up winning the NBA championship, so I guess that makes us feel a little bit better. At least we lost to the champs, and Trae Young gets MVP of the Finals. Moving us into year 5, and let's see, Okoro now sitting at an 86 overall, getting to the point where he's almost the highest overall on the entire roster, which is nice. Trae Young gets another MVP, man. He's been going on a tear in this sim. We're now up against the Orlando Magic here in the Eastern Conference Finals. Of course, who do have Cole Anthony as their starting point guard, who you have to give some credit to, has done very well for himself, being one of the back-end lottery picks in this year's draft. We find ourselves down 3-2 in the series, and we're going to hop into Simcast here and see just what ends up happening, and we end up losing in 6 to this Orlando Magic team that honestly did pretty well. So we're going to see who ends up actually winning it all. So the Magic up against the Warriors here in the finals. See what the Warriors team is looking like. Definitely a little interesting. So let's see which of the two teams actually ends up taking it here in year 6, I believe, right? So we have an interesting series, and the Warriors end up taking it with fellow rookie James Wiseman actually getting Finals MVP. Moving us into year 6, an 88 overall Isaac Okoro, now 24 years old, starting to really move into that part of the career when it's his prime. You see his accolades so far. Hopefully we can get him a little bit more going forward. And man, oh man, would you look at that. Another MVP season for Trae Young. And for the first time ever, Isaac Okoro is actually the highest scorer on our team for the regular season, almost 18 points per game. So definitely got to give him some big W's for that. First round matchup here, we're going to be up against the Milwaukee Bucks, man, with Bronny James. So it's not going to be an easy matchup, but hopefully we can end up taking this. It's not going to be the easiest one, though, of course, because he is an absolute bucket in this game. We find ourselves up 3-2, and hopefully we can take it here and not even have to worry about going to Game 7. And we have to go to Game 7, boys. So let's hop into Simcast and see if we can take out Bronny and the Bucks here, or if they're going to upset us in the first round here, and it's not looking great, as we end up falling to them 123-104. Not what you want to see. Warriors versus the Hawks in the finals yet again, and another James Wiseman MVP of the finals. 89 overall, Okoro obviously getting the most minutes on the team, and wow, man, this man Trae Young is on an absolute tear. It's crazy. But first round matchup, we got the Charlotte Hornets here with LaMelo Ball and Michael Porter Jr. A very interesting Hornets team there. Definitely would bring in a lot of attention to them in the league if they had that duo. But we find ourselves tied up with them here 2-2. We're the 4 seed, they're the 5 seed. And unfortunately, we find ourselves going to another Game 7. We don't like these. We don't like these at all. But let's see what ends up happening. Back and forth. And we ultimately end up losing by 9. Colin Sexton putting up 27. 11-10 there for Isaac Okoro. Not really what we were hoping for, but it is what it is. Denny Avila and the Wizards up against this Thunder squad in the playoffs. And the Thunder seem to have the upper hand. But wow, would you look at that? They blow a 3-0 lead to that Wizards team. Moving us into year 8, Okoro now up to a 91 overall. Got his first All-Star seasons the last 2 seasons, which is great to add to his accolades. And I don't know if this is just glitched or something, man, but Trae Young has gotten MVP for what feels like 5 or 6 straight seasons. And we end up bouncing the Heat in the first round here, which is definitely nice to see. Moving us on to a second round matchup up against the Boston Celtics, of course with Jason Tatum. And they end up taking us out in 5 with Jason Tatum going crazy on us. Big, big tragic. Only 4 of 12 there for Okoro. Did not help the cause at all. And the Celtics end up taking it in the finals in 7 with Jason Tatum securing himself another finals MVP, moving us into year 9. And in year 9, Okoro all the way up to a 92 overall now, and we surprisingly are still starting an Andre Drummond that's a 74 overall. And needless to say, Trae Young gets another regular season MVP, man. That kid is doing something crazy. And we add Zion apparently this season, which is interesting. And 93 overall Okoro, putting up just about 19 points per game, but I guess getting overshadowed a little bit by the fact that Zion is here, putting up 27 points a game this season. So I'll take it. I mean, it is what it is. Of course, everything's always on auto, so I guess they signed him or traded for him or something of that nature. So moving on to the finals here, we're up against the OKC Thunder with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still at the point. So let's see if we can take it with the combo of Okoro and Zion as we find ourselves up 3-1, and we hop into Simcast and we end up taking this 133-108. Getting Isaac Okoro his second NBA championship of this sim. The only bad thing about that is I don't know if he's going to get Finals MVP considering Zion was here going crazy and could have just stole the Thunder from him. But as you can see, we're going to hop into the box score and see. So 43 and 14 from Zion. A 25 piece from Isaac Okoro as well that we cannot let go unnoticed. Zion unfortunately does grab the Finals MVP, but a championship is a championship, and Okoro now has 2 of them. Moving us into year 10 where Okoro is up to a 93 overall at 28 years old, doing his thing. Also, he's going to make an All-NBA team here as the All-NBA second team, putting up 23.6 points per game, man. This kid is doing something very impressive for this Cleveland Cavaliers organization, and I'm definitely interested to see how this offseason is actually going to go for us and how the playoffs are going to go. And they suggest to put him up to 40 points per game, so let's see if that can help us maybe in the playoffs here and let Okoro just go absolutely crazy. And in other news, apparently Michael Kidd-Gilchrist has some type of comeback on his career and is now an 87 overall off our bench. I'll take it, but second round here up against the New York Knicks as we bounce the Boston Celtics in the first round. We're going into a Game 7 here, and Game 7s we typically have not had the best luck, but let's hope for something different here and that we could potentially beat this New York Knicks team and go back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's check it out, and it's not looking great here as they have a big lead on us, and we end up losing 112 to 97. Okoro not having the best game shooting there, going 7 for 19, but it is what it is. Warriors end up picking up another NBA championship here with James Wiseman getting his 3rd Finals MVP of the sim. And we move on to year 11 where Okoro is now up to a 94 overall at 29 years old. And we do make an All-NBA team appearance yet again as the All-NBA second team, which you'd love to see. Of course, getting some recognition for our guy. And looking at his stats, 22.5 points per game, now 30 years old. And heading into the playoffs, we had a pretty easy first-round matchup that we swept the Philadelphia 76ers. And you guessed it, we are going to be moving into a matchup yet again up against the Hawks, man. I feel like we're always up against the Hawks here. And let's not discredit that 35-point performance there from Okoro. Definitely doing his thing. But hopefully we can make it past this Hawks team, man. They definitely give us a lot of troubles. And it's probably because we don't really have the guards to clamp up Trae Young, man. And yet again, it happens, unfortunately. We get knocked out 4-1 here. And if I had to take a guess, I would assume it's probably because Trae Young killed us. And it actually wasn't this time. Amani Bates had a big game. And the Hawks actually go on to win the championship here with Amani Bates getting Finals MVP. Moving us into year 12 of the sim, man. So we're sitting at a 3-time NBA champion in Isaac Okoro. And on top of that, a 6-time All-Star now. A first-round matchup yet again up against Bronny and the Bucks. It didn't go so well for us last time, but let's cross our fingers and hope we can knock them out this time. And man, oh man, we're getting flooded. Down 3-0. We do end up getting a game, but we end up getting bounced in 5. At least we got a game for our respect. But man, that's not how we want our first-round matchup to go ever, man. Tragic, tragic, tragic. As Okoro dropped 28, but it was not enough. And I guess we're going to be watching from the sidelines yet again here as you got the OKC Thunder with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander up against the Brooklyn Nets, who have an interesting team of mostly younger guys at this point, with the only person that's currently in the NBA still in their starting 5 is Jarrett Allen at their center position. And it looks like it's going to Game 7, and in Game 7, the Nets end up taking it with Jabari Smith Jr. getting Finals MVP. Moving us into year 13 here, 93 overall, Issac Okoro still leading the team overall-wise. And we're still having the guys from the beginning of this, like Darius Garland and Colin Sexton, rocking with us. Another first-round matchup here up against Bronny and the Bucks. So let's hope that it's a little bit different this time, but it's not going to be easy, of course. And we find ourselves down 3-1 against them yet again. But we end up getting bounced in 6 this time, which is better than 5, but we're not going to the playoffs to get bounced in the first round, let's be honest. So we're going to watch from the sidelines yet again. Pacers versus the Mavs in the finals. The Mavs end up taking it, and in the year 2033, Luka still gets himself another Finals MVP. Dude's just a beast. Moving us into year 14, a slight regression from Issac Okoro, now up to a 92, down 1 overall point from last year, still starting at the 37 minutes a game. And he makes the All-NBA first team, despite that small regression heading into the year. And it helps us get the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. With that being said, I'm pretty interested to see just how he actually did this season. So 21 points per game, not bad at all for the 33-year-old Okoro. And we find ourselves back in the playoffs in the second round here, up against the Orlando Magic. Hopefully we don't blow this 2-0 lead, man. And would you look at that? We just have not had good luck these last couple years in the playoffs. We find ourselves now down 3-2 as they take 3 straight games on us. And we end up getting bounced by 3 points, man. Not what you want to see. Issac Okoro, 24 points in that game, was not enough. Finals there, the Denver Nuggets end up taking it. Elijah Fisher getting Finals MVP. Moving us on to another year here. And you can take a look at the rotations and see just what we're working with. And this is what our starting 5 is looking like, so let's hop into it. So Bronny ends up getting MVP here, which is definitely a big W. And we move into the second round of the playoffs where we're up against this Bucks team that we ultimately knock out in 6, thankfully. This team has been one of our couple kryptonites, them and the Hawks, man. But we finally make it past them. Going up against now the Washington Wizards with Deni Avdija here in the Eastern Conference Finals. So let's cross our fingers and hope we can knock them out. And in a 4-0 sweep, we actually do end up taking them, boys. Heading back to the finals for what feels like the first time in a while. Okoro dropping 23 in that game. And let's see how it goes. We're up against the Los Angeles Clippers here in the finals. And can we get our 4th NBA championship of the sim? And it's not looking good as we end up getting bounced in 5 here, boys. And let's see our performances there. Okoro definitely not doing it bad in that game. 16, 7, and 8. Not bad. Moving on to another season here. We're working with a 4-star system proficiency, boys. And we find ourselves back in the Eastern Conference Finals yet again. Up against the Orlando Magic, who have bounced us like the last 2 times they played us in upsets. So let's see if we can upset them this time. And we do end up taking them 4-2. We'll definitely take that, boys. Moving us back to the NBA Championship. Feels good to be back-to-back seasons up against the San Antonio Spurs here, who we find ourselves up 2-0 on, 3-0 on, and will we be getting our 4th NBA championship? We will. Let's go, baby. Okoro dropping 18 points in that dub, 7 for 17 shooting. Not bad at all. Moving us in to year 17. Year 17, Okoro chilling at an 83 overall, so not bad at all. And he's still starting at our small forward position, obviously building up these accolades, which you just love to see. We're up against the Bucks here in the Eastern Conference Finals yet again, because we're just running through teams again at this point in the sim. But Bronny, of course, is coming back to be our kryptonite as we get bounced in 5 by Bronny and the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Not necessarily what we wanted, but it is what it is. Okoro dropped 21 there. We couldn't get it done. So Sacramento Kings in the finals up against the Bucks. And they do end up taking it, beating and upsetting Bronny and the Bucks. Moving us into year 18 of the sim. Okoro now sitting at a 78 overall. But his accolades, man, it's just something great to see. And Pierre Sonnet, this guy's interesting looking, gets MVP of the regular season. And you look at the finals here, you got the Hawks and the last year's champions Kings. Hawks end up taking it with Amani Bates getting a finals MVP. Moving us into year 19. Issac Okoro, 75 overall. A 10-time All-Star now. 4-time NBA champion. You just gotta love these accolades for the kid. Still starting at the small forward position. Getting 27 minutes a game. Even a 75 overall. And his older age at this point. And will we be making it back to the Eastern Conference Finals? we actually will, clutching up big time in Game 7 here, moving us to the Eastern Conference Finals up against the Brooklyn Nets here. And let's see what we can do. So this one, ooh, we do end up taking it in 6, boys. Can we get a 5th NBA championship? Okoro's not even playing. He's a DNP. But, man, a championship ring is a championship ring. Can we get him his 5th very late in the sim, which would probably be his last year? It's a battle, but we ultimately end up losing this in 6. Okoro, DNP. But hey, man, at least he got to the championship as many times as he did. And we ultimately got him 4 finals rings, and he was a 10-time All-Star. I think he made the All-NBA second team 3 times and the third team once. So obviously a great career, ultimately making the NBA Hall of Fame alongside a guy like James Wiseman, of course, another great guy from his draft class. And we're going to check out where his stats kind of finished all time among the entire NBA. Of course, he had a great career. If you guys made it this far throughout the video, as always, you know the vibes. Comment GOAT in all capitals below, so I know you're a true Bean Squad supporter. And I can show you some love down in the comment section below for watching all the way through. Smash that like button if you have not already. Let me know which videos you guys want me coming next, whether that's one of the NBA draft guys, a rebuilding challenge. Let me know down in the comment section below. As always, I do try to get back to you guys as soon as possible. So let me actually let's pull up these stats real quick and see where our guy finished before we hop out of this video, boys. So here we are hopping into it, and let's see where he finished all time among points, because I feel like this is probably his strongest thing, and maybe somewhere where he could actually rank. So right within the top 50 at 48, which is not bad, right above Big O, so not bad at all. Of course, as always, boys, I'm going to let this roll out, and you guys can look through as you please. It's been your boy Bean. I appreciate you guys for watching. Peace out.